Just thought I'd do a bit of an update so you all know where I'm at with everything. I got home last night at about 10 or something like that after the theatre, the general anaesthetic. And I must admit, in the end, apart from the fear of dying on the table, which has always been a fear of mine, it was actually a better outcome for me with the way that I was feeling, and the whole process, really, like the physical process of it, was what I was feeling the most. I felt that I'd dealt with a lot of my emotions anyway, so in the first sort of couple of days it was really prominent that I'd dealt with my emotions, and I know that's an ongoing thing. I don't want you to think that, although in some of the videos I'm showing a bit of humour, that's kind of my way of getting through things. And because I've been through this so many times, the loss side of things, like I've said probably in other videos, the later losses are always more difficult than the biochemical losses, because they can be over and done with, and you can still have your next period relatively within a period of time, where when you have any later loss, it takes the body time to adapt back to what it was when you know. So if you're really wanting to conceive, you're having to wait a good 6 weeks before possibly your next menstrual cycle, and then you've got to wait for your first period anyway before you can try, so then that delays it, so you end up having to wait quite some time, and that can be quite distressing, especially when age and time isn't on your side. But I do feel being in for the last 2 days and having that time on my own has been a big time of reflection for me and a lot of healing. And again, I'm thinking I just need to give my body a rest, because through lockdown, because of the time aspect and being able to join bubbles and travel in between my bubbles, I was able to have opportunities. It hasn't worked out, and I don't punish myself with any of my losses. I just think that, okay, if I just look at my lifestyle, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I'm not the best eater, and I have thought about the meat side of things in the past, and I followed advice for previous pregnancies on taking progesterone and aspirin. I didn't take aspirin for this pregnancy all the time, and I must admit I question marked whether that was my mistake. But ultimately, whatever happens, if like the last pregnancy in December was a chromosome genetic issue, the baby had Edwards syndrome, it never got going. It just, my body just, if I hadn't taken the progesterone to keep the pregnancy going, it probably wouldn't have lasted as long as it did. So I don't punish myself in any way, and I don't think anyone should ever punish themselves, because it's the greatest mystery is conception. And even the best researchers in the world who look into, you know, the human body and conception, they don't have their answers ultimately. We try different things, there's different research, there's different studies done, but ultimately we're all so different in the way that we're made up. So this for me, although some people do need assisted help with it, for someone like me, for me it's just nature's way, and I will do what I can to help that. And, you know, I'll wait for the results of the genetic testing and see what happens from that. But ultimately, my lifestyle and being not working or anything, I mean, it's been the perfect time, really. I will say one thing, though, that is repeating itself in every loss, and that's stress. I think it has a negative impact on the body. I believe that anyway as a holistic therapist and treating people. We believe holistically that if someone is feeling stressed, it can manifest in the body as a physical symptom from emotions, etc. So then why wouldn't stress affect a pregnancy? So when it gets to you, it's an awful thing, isn't it? So I'm just reflecting and just feeling like I must say, with my pregnancies, it does feel like my body's being poisoned by something. And the thing is, I'm a rhesus negative. I have a theory about my rhesus negative blood type, and I just feel that although I have looked into it and there is some research that would go into the links of blood types and miscarriages, what I do know is that anything that I've ever had in my body, it's like I've got an army fighting against it. Any viruses, anything like that, it just really, really goes into battle mode. And that's not a bad thing. But my theory is that with pregnancy and rhesus negative, I think they're linked. I think that anything foreign in your body, and let's face facts, it's like a foreign body is a pregnancy, because that's why all the hormones come in to help progress it and grow it. So I just feel that there's something in that. If anyone is watching this and agrees or is interested in that or knows anything, let me know. So I feel all right today, considering everything that I've been through. I feel that because last time I can't remember my first D&C, to be honest. I think emotionally that was a real problem. It was my first time losing a planned loss that nearly got to 12 weeks. So I think there was a lot more going on then, and over the years and then having the birth, I think I've just done so much research and looking into this and just sharing my journey that I feel I deal with things better now. But I will say, having the surgery in theatre under general anaesthetic, I have walked out of there, recovered very quickly and come home, and I'm taking it easy, but I feel all right. I'm not going back to work for a week. I always find that the after effects of surgery, you've still got to deal with that on a physical level, so bleeding, etc. Anyway, it's part and parcel of it. There's no point denying it. You don't just come out and, your body's got to deal with things, hasn't it? So on an emotional level, it can come and go, and it can hit at a later time. But I feel I accept that my age perhaps could be playing a factor, and that once I've given my body a little bit of time, depending on my circumstances, who knows. I am also coming home to my child. That is a real blessing. It still doesn't mean that you feel pain and you feel the loss, because you do, but knowing that I'm coming home after all these losses to my child, who fills my life with so much, is my saviour, really. It's my saving grace. I think I'd be in a different place if I didn't have that. So I am okay. So anyway, I've got to have injections every day for 10 days. It's the first time I've ever injected myself. It was horrible. That's for blood clots. I've got to have antibiotics. I had my rhesus negative, oh God, what do they call it? The jab for the blood type. I was one of the first ladies in East Lancashire to have the genotyping for rhesus negative to detect whether the pregnancy is what blood type they are. I was the first person in East Lancashire to get that done. I was the first one it was trialled on. That's quite nice, isn't it? I still can't think what it's called though. Anti-D injection. That's horrendous. A horrible one. So I've had that done, and I am not taking any pain relief, although I did apparently have some shoved up my bum. Seemed to really do the trick, and feel all right. Not gonna deny. Always suffer loss, suffer the emotions, but I'm not gonna. My body feels it just feels better today than it has done. I think when you're pregnant, you forget how much it massively changes your body, and I do really, really suffer with that change. Even when the symptoms stopped, and that's usually my indication that I'm losing the pregnancy, your symptoms can still continue though, because you've still got hormones that are coming down. So for a good 3 weeks, I'm still going to show pregnant, which means I've still got hormones in my body. So I'm still a bit like funny with my sense of smell. And that's always a little bit of a sad reminder, really. But, you know, just like I had 7 cups of coffee or something ridiculous to just think, yeah, I can drink coffee again. So, I don't know. I think that's for... Everyone's different. And everyone's journey is different. And in my poetry, that really has brought out my emotions this time. Of the whole process. I think my poetry, writing again, I'm not saying it's the best poetry I've ever written, but writing again has brought out how I truly feel, and perhaps that's what you're not seeing on camera now at this stage. And maybe through I was obsessed with food for 2 days. All I could think about was eating while I was in there. I suppose there's not a lot else to do though, is there? Just going to give you my last update. I've had an okay day, but I just completely became all exhausted quite about tea time, and just felt drained by it all. So, and also I started getting a little bit of pain, so I just took some ibuprofen, paracetamol, and I laid down, just came to bed, and I think that this will probably be the last part of the video now, for these, last few days. So I just wanted to kind of conclude that it's been a really healing process. Like I've said, I know I repeat myself throughout the videos as I've been watching them back, but it's, it's what it is. It was real, and it's really helped me, even though in a sense I'm talking to myself because no one might watch them. It's really helped me a lot, and I think it's a really useful therapy to talk to your phone camera and play it back, or don't play it back. So maybe that's some advice I can give, whatever you're going through. If you happen to be watching this, talk to your phone, talk to yourself, film yourself, and get it off your chest. It's worked wonders for me, and I do know that there are some people who watch my videos, and I'm grateful to you really for taking an interest, and hope that they are some use to you. And if you want to get in touch with any questions, or you need someone to talk to, then please get in touch. And so yeah, I will reflect on these days, no doubt. I've got a few more poems that I feel like I need to write regarding my experiences, because that's been a real a channel of putting my energies into the poetry again. It's been a real good channel for release, in a different way than I've done for a long time. So, but I can't say, other than the delay of like being in hospital for that amount of time, everyone they're just such an amazing team. They really are, and I'm grateful to them. And they won't watch this obviously, but I really am grateful to them. We're really lucky to have Burnley, the pregnancy and all the different aspects to that. We're really lucky to have that. The early pregnancy team are fantastic, and just everyone that's been involved with me over the years. When you start knowing who you are and your name, there's something going wrong. And I just hope that whatever happens in the future, you can just, don't know, we'll see what happens. Right, that's it, all finished.